Hello, Scandal Sheet fans. We hoped you enjoyed our previous post, an encore of our annual Independence Day special featuring the Nathan's famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest, held each July 4th and broadcast around the globe on ESPN. If you haven't listened to that one yet, you won't want to miss it. But in this breaking news segment, we bring back our two Nathan's judges from last year's show, Jason and Rob, to discuss some dramatic developments in the 2024 contest.
True crime.
Sex.
Political conspiracy.
Celebrity gossip.
Murder.
UFOs.
Crooked officials.
The occult.
Assassination.
Courtroom drama.
Rape.
Corporate scams.
Scandal Sheet. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scandal Sheet. My name is Thad Helsley, and as the Independence Day holiday looms before us, to celebrate last year, we did an episode on an annual sporting event held every 4th of July on Coney Island, Brooklyn, Nathan's famous International Hot Dog Eating Contest. Now, that episode proved to be one of the most popular this pod has ever done, so it seemed like a good idea to update it for the current year. So to do that, we have invited back our guests from last year, both of whom served as judges for many years of the Nathan's contest. So, we are happy to welcome back Handsome Rob from the Upper East Side.
Hey, everybody. Thrilled to be back once again commenting on the iconic, the American staple of Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest.
And we also have his equally hunky, but much smarter brother, Jason from Long Island.
Hello, everybody. Happy early 4th of July. Let's hope we can crown a new hot dog eating champion this year.
Well, welcome back to you both. We wanted to get an update from you, hot off the presses, so to speak, about what is going on now. So, Joey Chestnut, the reigning champ and 16-time winner of the Nathan's contest and the world record holder for eating 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes without throwing up, was apparently fired from the contest at almost the last minute, just a couple of weeks ago. That would be like firing, like the Lakers firing LeBron James. No, as former judges, you must have an inside track on this information. Can you explain what happened?
Based?
Yeah, sure. It's just like everything else nowadays in terms of sports. It's all about the money. You know, the most recent version of this contest, because as you know, this contest, as we mentioned last year, is over 100 years old. But, you know, ever since the time Kobayashi in the late 90s, early 2000s brought this sport to the media frenzy that it is, and which was carried on by Joey Chestnut and their rivalry, for all intents and purposes, it was still very much a local event. And, you know, keep in mind that, you know, over 20-something years ago, the prize was just the yellow mustard belt. And then once it picked up popularity, I think maybe the prize for the winner was $10,000. It just comes down to dollars and cents, and it's no different than you know in terms of loyalty. It's all about the dollars and cents.
Do you think that was when ESPN started broadcasting it internationally?
Yeah, I don't know, absolutely. And the fact that Joey Chestnut, you know, became a household name. The truth of the matter is the Major League Eating, and you know, for transparency, my brother and I, we've always maintained a cordial and friendly relationship with the two principals of Major League Eating, George and Rich Shea. So this is not meant to disparage or
you're personal friends of George Shea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, friends is, you know, he wouldn't bail me out of Mexico if I was missing a kidney sitting in a bathtub full of ice. Which is, by the way, how I define a friend.
Would he come to a Hanukkah party? Right, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe a Halloween party.
Good guys. It's been a few years.
Yeah, good guys, but it's been a few years. But you know, the expression of "freak on a leash" comes to mind, especially, you know, it's very much in the spirit of Nathan's Coney Island being, going back to, the inception of Coney Island's the freak show, the carnival. And, this has happened before. This is the same exact thing happened with Kobayashi. Kobayashi wanted to eat outside of the major league eating circuit, which, it's funny because even, the Live Golf Tournament and the PGA somehow managed to have a relationship in terms of players from Live being able to play on the major tours for the PGA. But this, I think, it comes down to the fact that, Joey Chestnut is having his day in the sun, and he should, for all intents and purposes, have this payday, which he wants, and supposedly what he got from Impossible Foods.
Well, can we just step back a little bit, because you mentioned Kobayashi, and I'm not sure he was mentioned in the original episode. Maybe he was, but for the purpose of the audience right now here in 2024, who was that guy?
Kobayashi was the unbeatable champion from Japan before Joey Chestnut. Yeah. And then Joey Chestnut. Absolutely. And I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I don't know if people are aware that Joey Chestnut and Takiro Kobayashi are going to have a one-on-one face-off on Labor Day on Netflix.
Oh, that's
cool.
Cool.
They're going to be competing for the first time. They call it unfinished business, but essentially Joey Chestnut was demolishing Kobayashi back in the day. Once Chestnut came on the scene, Kobayashi was pushed to the side, and he wanted to eat in other non-MLE sanctioned events.
So did Joey Chestnut unseat him in sort of like a Rocky Apollo Creed matchup, or Ali Foreman or whatever?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And the Shea brothers, to their credit, the Japanese and both male and female competitors were just destroying the field. And in a very, showman way, there was a time where they were pitting it, Chestnut and Kobayashi, as the United States versus Japan, with the crowd cheering on USA, USA. So, they turned it into a truly international spectacle.
Was this in the same time period where we felt, or we people in the USA felt, that we were like really, really competing heavily head to head with the Japanese over cars and electronics and stuff like that?
I think that was probably I want to say that was probably the mid to late 80s, when they had movies like Gung Ho out there, and
I remember that
losing losing the battle in the car makers. Yeah, I think that was earlier. I don't know if it really, but any excuse to have the public relations, it's choose your enemy at the time, whatever is available.
Right, and it's also always held, at least as far as I can tell, on the 4th of July, which is our national holiday, and there's flags all over the place. And I mean, if even somebody who's not a national is a nationalist for one day, right? Long enough to eat a hot dog and watch some fireworks.
I think a big part of what's missing here that nobody's talking about, and I have to preface this by saying, this is in no way, shape, or form financial advice. The only reason that I'm mentioning the fact that Nathan's is a public company is because I think it's something that a lot of people haven't been talking about.
It's not part of a food group like Oscar Mayer. It's its own little company.
No, it's a fully independent, publicly listed company. It has a market cap, and again, this is not financial advice, purely just giving statistics here.
It's on the NYSE.
Yeah, yep. Again, I don't even want to give the symbol. And by the way, anything that I'm saying is it's readily available. It's all public information. You can just go to your Fidelity account or whatever account and look this up. So it's got a current market cap of $280 million, and there's only 4 million shares outstanding. And it's also very...
Are you a stockbroker, by the way? Is that why you're so informed about this?
I'm in the business, and Well, I just want to make sure what's going on with raging kitty, that I'm not. I don't want a Netflix documentary about all of a sudden people buying or selling Nathans based on anything, I might say. So yes, it's one big.
Can I buy the Brooklyn Bridge from you? Can I put in a bid on the Brooklyn Bridge?
No, actually, because I sold it last week. So
oh, damn it! I knew it.
It's no longer for sale. But there's
Okay.
another bridge that I think I can come up with.
Okay, George Washington.
Right. Yeah. So what people aren't talking about is Nathan's not there's not too many shares of Nathan's outstanding, and I believe a lot of it is very closely held by board members.
Okay.
And by institutions. So keep in mind, if Nathan's actually so at this point, the Shea brothers who run the event, they're just the public relations firm. So Nathan's is just their account. So they really don't have any say as to what Nathan's is ultimately the one that shut this down.
And do you know why they did it? Why would you fire Joey Chestnut over a vegan hot dog?
It's all about money. So Nathan's was going to pay Joey Chestnut $200,000 to appear this year at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and from what is out in the public, they were ready to offer him a 4-year, $2 million contract,
Exclusive, I imagine.
Yes, and I mean, just
like. No, and I can understand if he went out and said, well, I'm going to do Hebrew hot dog or Oscar Mayer hot dog. That would be direct head-on-head competition, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was just reading that Joey Chestnut said that he's not even aware of if Impossible Foods sells hot dogs. He says they make a really very good vegan chicken nugget. So he was trying to make the same case also. Keep in mind that, and in the last episode that we talked about it, for years there were groups in the crowd that were protesting meat.
Sure.
Meat being murder. I mean, so
the animal rights peoples and
the animal rights people. So
the PETA guys, yeah.
So it's really just whether they sell hot dogs or not, Impossible Foods. I think it's just what they stand for, and again, I would like to think that Nathan's. I would not like to think. I would think Nathan's has a very cozy relationship with its meat distributors, its farms, its butchers, and they have to remain loyal to who supports their business. So I think in general, it's just the whole trend of
Do they sell other, like Oscar Mayer sells like a blur of different products. Do Nathan sell other products other than hot dogs?
Yeah, they actually sell a lot. And one of the things that I mentioned last time, which I don't think anybody's going to complain about, is the real Coney Island, the Nathan's Coney Island also sells frogs legs. They sell clams on the half shell. They sell their French fries are fantastic. Yeah, no, they sell a lot of products, but again, I think it just became a situation. It's like, Major League Baseball teams, a lot of times their managers don't make a fraction of what the players make, right? I mean, if you have a player that's making $20 million a year and the manager is making $1 million a year, I think it's just a situation. Yeah, I think it's just a situation where Joey Chestnut has been doing it for so long, and he is the GOAT, that it's either they can't afford to keep him, or there would be too much, if they wanted to give him the payday that he's deserving of. The fact that it's a publicly traded company, that would have to go through board approval, and it would also have to go through the approval of shareholders. So I think that's a big part of what people aren't, and in some cases, I don't know what the board members make, but Joey Chestnut might be making more than the board members. It's just a situation of where something that was a mom and pop contest turned into something bigger than anybody, including Joey Chestnut, probably, anticipated or saw. It's for a long time, competitive eating was considered a joke until ESPN and all of these betting websites turned it into a bona fide sporting event, which draws in millions and millions of viewers and millions of dollars. So it really, in my opinion, it's all about Major League eating maintaining its exclusivity to Joey Chestnut and Nathan's, who MLE answers to, not wanting any perceived conflicts of interest. So,
okay, so Rob has been relatively silent here. Maybe he can jump in, and he is a professional sales and marketing guy for a Fortune 500 company. If you were going to plan an exit for Joey Chestnut, wouldn't you kind of want it to be an Ali versus Foreman kind of a thing, where you had this dramatic, fight to the finish, and then the crown was passed from one person to another? Because who's going to replace Joey Chestnut? I mean, I imagine there's going to be somebody there that they're going to push, but there was no moment where Joey Chestnut was defeated, went down in flames, at the foot. It's not Game of Thrones, where the guy, right, who was the reigning champ for 16 years falls and dies and burns, and then the new guy is like, yes! No, it's just going to be guys like all the other guys that were always there every other year, right? Or what? I mean, Rob, what do you think?
A guess on my part, but again, just knowing how branding and whatnot works. I think that they're approaching it the way that any sports or professional sports team does, in that no one single player is bigger than the game. And I think that's the way that they're approaching it. So they're saying, you want to step out, you want to go elsewhere, you can do that, but you can't serve two masters. You're either with us or you're against us. So
okay,
it's an open market. You want to go elsewhere, go right ahead. But once you walk out that door, it closes behind you and it's locked. Looking at it, Impossible Meat, their whole pitch is we're trying to create an alternative to meat. We're trying to create it's a completely separate product, almost as a way as if you have Coca-Cola and we have this new, healthier, or at least that's the pitch, water or seltzer that tastes like Coke, but it isn't. And by the way, the pitch, again, and this is only based on what I've read, is that even though they're trying to say, well, it's healthier than meat, in a lot of ways, it's just as fattening or just as cholesterol laden as meat.
Yeah, actually, we did an episode with a top nutritionist, a published author, and we actually did a taste test with a bunch of people between like a regular Burger King Whopper and then their Possible Burger, I forget what it's called, a blind taste test. So they didn't know whether they're eating the real Whopper or the Impossible thing. And she was also saying, you're right. It's just like, okay, well, in order to make it taste like meat, even though it's plant-based, they had to put so much junk in there. It's actually got more fat and cholesterol.
Exactly right.
And salt than a beef burger. So it's worse for you, even though the presumption is, well, if I eat plant-based, I won't have a heart attack at 50. So
and if you think that you're going to get the vegetarian crowd, you're not, because they don't want to eat cheeseburgers. And, even though you're dialing one up, even though you're dialing up a plant to make it taste like a cheeseburger, you're kind of going counterintuitive to the whole ideology of, I'm a vegan, I don't want to eat cheeseburgers, even if that's not what it actually is.
Right.
Well, what's interesting is also thinking about this whole situation. I was wondering that from a public relations standpoint, this also would have been the perfect opportunity for Nathan's to introduce the plant-based hot dog.
You know what? You go to and maybe we're getting off topic a little bit.
That's what I would do if I was CEO. I'd say, I want a fucking Nathan's approved vegan hot dog. I want you to go get me a black bean hot dog, and because the brand, all down the Northeast, guys, there are Nathan's, it's like McDonald's or Starbucks. It's not as big as Starbucks, but there are Nathan's hot dog retail outlets.
Yeah, but I'm going to In-N-Out Burger, right? For a big fat old double patty. I'm not going there for the health experience.
No, they're doubling down on
in,
one side. They're saying we're going to give you the bacon burger, Terminator burger, cheese.
But Rob, what's very interesting is, and I'll never forget this, on the few times that I've been to In-N-Out Burger, there are people that I have gone with that are healthy, and In-N-Out Burger actually offers a burger that's served on a lettuce bun.
Yep.
So they do have a healthier version of the In-N-Out Burger.
Yes, but...
And that's a California franchise, right?
So I think Nathan's, you know what, you go to Nathan's for a hot dog, and if you want a faux hot dog, go elsewhere.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Okay. So I'm trying to think if there's anything we didn't cover. So,
you know, I do want to say that I do want to say that the Shea brothers, they're fantastic. I mean, they're really great at what they do, and they fully understand. And in fact, I know you've been in advertising, and the old adage is, speak well of me, speak poorly of me, but as long as you're talking about me. And I have no doubt that
there is no bad PR. Yeah.
Right. There is no bad PR. And I'm sure that, the fact that Chestnut, is not going to compete or was kicked out of the competition, I'm sure that that's helped him. I mean, because within minutes of the news breaking, I personally had like 10 or 15 people that knew that I used to be involved with the competition hitting me with the news. And that's 10 to 15 texts that I would have never received. And, just the media that Major League Eating and Shake Communications is getting, you know what? That just might feed into if they work something out with Chestnut next year. It also gives Major League Eating an opportunity to this year to just see how head and shoulders above every other competitor that's currently in their bullpen can't come close to touching Chestnut. So maybe this will actually create a bigger buildup for the return of Chestnut.
Well, that about empties our ketchup bottle for today, everybody. We want to thank our fantastic guests, Jason from Long Island and Handsome Rob from the Upper East Side, and we hope you and your besties enjoyed a great Independence Day holiday weekend. Please follow or subscribe to Scandal Sheet on your favorite pod platform, and share it with all your friends. And we recently launched on Patreon, where you can enjoy premium bonus content and help to support us for less than the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. It's really simple to find us. Just go to patreon.com/scandalsheet. That's patreon.com/scandalsheet. Or do it the easy way and just look at the link in the liner notes. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a shameless, over-the-top rave review on Apple Podcasts especially. That helps us build audience. Also, we want to hear from you! You can reach us online at Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Or just send us an email to scandalsheetpod@gmail.com. See you next time on Scandal Sheet!
Copyright 2024. Thad Halsley Media, LLC. All rights reserved.